All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Nathan Klug from Praxis Agency Consulting Group. And today we have a special guest on, and I'll introduce him in a second, but you already see his face. And today, the title of the webinar is The Easiest Way to Find Agents and Advisors. And the reason that we're putting this on is because for those that are here right now and listening to the recording, the idea of finding agents and advisors, of course, they're easy to find, but knowing actually what they're doing and if they're qualified or not and how that all works is a very difficult process. The joke, of course, in the industry that if you ever talk to an agent about their production, you should just cut it in half instantly. We have someone on that runs a company, has tons of years of experience in the industry. He started when he was 2. And has a system of how in a database for agents and advisors for anybody that's looking for those type of people. And so we're going to go through that system and how he goes about creating that database and some of its applications. And the reason that this is important for us from a Praxis standpoint is, one, that is our marketplace, is agents, advisors, agencies. And very specifically, our value proposition to our affiliate marketing offices that we work with and everyone that's here and listen to this is, how do you find those people? And this is something that we would like to bring on as a part of our part of the platform, in essence, that if you're looking for a way to reach out to agents and advisors, the best way to do it is to reach out to the qualified ones, the ones that are actually in the business, doing the work, writing policies, building AUM. And that's really what the interest is on our side, because as you bring on potentially business development advisors, those marketers and wholesalers to your agencies, to your AMOs, these are people that we can leverage and use this system to make those phone calls and earn those agents and advisors business. So I'm not going to share his secret sauce, but I have it has been an honor getting to know Dennis and building a relationship with them. So Dennis Rackers is our guest today. I'm not going to go through too much of your pedigree, Dennis, but if you don't know who Dennis is, he was one of the, and you can correct me on my terminology potentially, but one of the co-founders of the Nexus Group, which maybe a sidebar conversation, because I know Integrity just bought a Nexus Group, but
yeah, that's correct. And I wasn't really a co-founder, but I was the original marketing director for Nexus.
There we go.
The actual founders are Ron Schertz and Don Dady. They probably, they might go, "Hey, wait a minute."
Well, we'll strike that from the recording, but yeah, so one of the four original.
I was one of the original. Yeah, I was one of the original. There were basically 4 of us, when the company started in 2005. I was one of the 4, I guess. But
I was just trying to elevate you a little bit.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I try to take credit for as much of it as I can, but
Dennis has lots of experience with the industry, and in this day and age, and I forgot how long you've been running it for, but he runs a company called Rackers Consulting Group.
Correct.
And one of their main focuses is in the agent advisor space, building that database for wholesalers, marketers, AMOs like ours that are focused on providing support and consulting to independent agents and advisors. So Dennis, I'm going to let you talk about your platform and your system and what you do, and then we'll have conversations in between as we're going along. But I do appreciate your time, Dennis, and thank you for jumping on.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nathan. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you and all of your people about what I do now. As you mentioned, I've been in the industry a long time, over 30 years, and I've done all the different roles. I started as an agent, decided to go into the wholesale side of the business and was a marketer, basically, a wholesaler, started my own IMO. Sold the IMO actually in 2005 to help Ron and Don get a Nexus off the ground. Worked with a Nexus for the first 4 years of its existence, and Since then, I have been doing what I'm doing now as Rackers Consulting Group. And basically, I just, through all of those years, I found that, one of the biggest problems that most IMOs and other companies like that, wholesalers and such, were having was in the recruitment of advisors. And how do you do it? How do you actually, reach a qualified independent advisor? That's always been the problem, and how much time and effort and money it takes, how much you have to weed through. I call it the haystack, trying to find the needle in the haystack. It's everybody can go out and subscribe to the Discovery database or someone else's, there's a few companies, with big databases of every licensed agent and advisor in the country, and you can subscribe to that database. And then what do? You can send blast emails, try to reach them on social media, try to cold call, go through and call, but now you've got to have somebody, or some way of you're spending a lot of time and money going through the haystack and to try and find that needle. Basically, what we do at Rackers Consulting Group is find the needle for you. That's all it really boils down to. So you basically hire us to do that for you. So that's what we do. We have different programs, different companies we work with that work with advisors where, they're not having to change where they write business or spend any money or anything like that. And they're just different referral type programs so that the advisor can use to build their business. We concentrate on 3 areas: fixed indexed annuities, index universal life, or assets under management. My background, as you might imagine, is mostly in fixed indexed annuities. So I tend to focus on that first, but we've added the other 2 because we've had requests for it, frankly. So what we do, I build my own database, so we do something really weird. We actually pick up the phone and call the advisor and talk to them. So not many people do that or want to do that anymore, and that's kind of our niche.
They say most of the calls that I get in this day and age are robo calls or robo
Right.
voicemails or an automated text or something like that. I haven't talked to a real person that's actually tried to call me for a while.
You're right. I know it's different, but we're able to do it because of that initial approach that we use. And obviously that initial approach is doing what, most people are doing, sending emails on LinkedIn, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And advisors respond and go, hey, I'm kind of interested in learning how to, and finding out more about this. And then that gives us, the ability to actually talk to them on the phone. When we talk to them, then we ask a lot of questions. We find out what business they're in, what their primary focus is, how long they've been in business, what licenses do they hold. If they tell us they do indexed annuity business or index life or AUM, we get those production numbers. And as you mentioned, in the open, sometimes you don't get a real accurate number, but we kind of feel like most of the time what we get are pretty accurate, because when they're talking to us, they're not talking to an IMO.
They're not trying to negotiate with you for a higher contract. So
Exactly. That's exactly right. Then that's the reason you usually get a much higher number, because they know, that's how you're going to determine what commission they get. That's not the situation with us. And, with us, they're like, well, we tell them, knowing something about your business helps us know who you'd want to talk to. You're probably getting bombarded with emails every day and phone calls maybe and everything else, and most of it is not worth your time. You tell us a little bit about your business, and we're going to narrow down things that we think will be worth your time. So we're just asking you for permission to put you in our database, and when we have something that we think you would be interested in based on what you're telling us right now, we're going to give you a call. We're not going to email, we're going to give you a phone call, and tell you about it. And if you're interested, great. And if you're not, you can say, I'm not interested in that. And that's how,
100%.
yeah, that's how we go about building the database. So, and essentially all we do, it's very simple in terms of how we work with our clients, in that, most of my clients are IMOs, small to medium size IMOs. I work with a few of the big ones, Financial Independence Group, we work with fairly regularly, a few of the others. But most of my clients are small to medium size IMOs that don't have 100 telemarketers, on staff, or, whatever. And they're trying to compete with those large, you mentioned Integrity, marketing group, who basically seems like they've bought everybody in the world now.
37 acquisitions this year alone.
Right. So you're seeing a lot of consolidation among the larger groups. And so for the smaller guys out there, that are wanting to compete with that, we feel like we give you a good opportunity to do that. You don't have to go out and hire a whole staff. You're basically paying us to do a lot of that initial grunt work, basically. And what you're doing is you pay us to get us a number of advisors who meet your qualifications, have expressed interest in what you do and in talking to you. But you already know, the most important thing is you already know they're qualified from the standpoint that they're independent, actively selling indexed annuities or life insurance, or they're active Series 65 building AUM, and they've shown an interest. And we have two different programs, one where we set phone appointments for the client. So, we call them, tell them a little bit about the IMO, or whoever it may be, and we call it a value proposition. We get a value proposition from the client, call the advisor, say, here's why we think this might be of interest to you. If it is, we'll set up a phone appointment for them to call you and go into more detail. The other program is you can just purchase lists of those advisors from us, from our database. Now, we don't sell them in huge quantity. Usually we sell them like 100 to 200 at a time. And the reason for that is because we want to make sure that their advisors we've talked to recently and verified all of their information. That doesn't mean it's 100% perfect. Okay. If you've ever worked with advisors, you know that it's never 100% perfect. We'll call an advisor, just had this happen yesterday. We'll talk to an advisor. They'll say, I do, $2 million a year of indexed annuity premium, plus, I do have a Series 65 and I have, X dollars under management. And then our client calls and the guy goes, I don't do any annuities at all. I don't know why you're calling me. It can happen literally a day after that. Yeah, literally a day after we talk to them, so all we ask, and when it's going to happen sometimes, we have a pretty low incidence of that. Because of the way we work, but when it does happen, we guarantee, everything. So we'll just replace that appointment or that lead for you. We just ask that you tell us who it was, because we want to know, if this guy is, just a serial liar or something, we want to get him out of our database.
There's probably something you mark in that file.
Exactly. Yeah. We always note to everything. So, that happens. We put a note in the database. This is what he said. And a lot of times we'll try to, because a lot of different things happen. Sometimes you call an advisor and he's just in a bad mood, or he just doesn't want to talk, and that's a fast way for him to get off the phone, frankly. If he just says, oh, I don't know what you mean. I don't sell annuities, So anyway, it doesn't happen very often, but I just feel like it's important for clients to know, or potential clients to know, if it does, we're going to make that good. We're going to replace that advisor for you. But that's basically how we work. It's really just taking a lot of the expense and the time. We talk about basically we do the work, so that we do the grunt work, so you don't have to. We're going to find and qualify these guys before they get to you. So when you're even like if you buy a list of 100, you say, we're looking to recruit advisors in the indexed annuity market. You buy a list of 100 from us, we have within 30 days phone verified that they're active, independent, and sell indexed annuities, and we give you the annual production number that they gave us.
That makes sense. And then, and I don't know if you wanted to get into this on this call at all, but do you have the prices for, those buying a list, or what that looks like for the amount of leads that you need to purchase?
Yeah, absolutely. For the lead list, if you're just buying a list of advisors, and you can say, we want advisors who do, $1 million a year or more. That's kind of typical. Sometimes we'll have
that sounds very typical.
Yeah. Right. But you can say we want advisors that are independent and do $1 million or more of indexed annuity business. Then we'll pull a list of those that we have talked to within 30 days, and they're $15 each. So you can get 100 of them. 100 is our minimum order. You can get 100 of them for $1,500. And now you've got a list of 100 guys, rather than having 5,000 and you don't have any idea what they do or who they are, or even if they're in business, retired, dead, whatever. Now you're going to have 100 that we've talked to within a month. And they've told us they're active, independent, in the business, and here's how much business I do. Here's how much index annuity business I write. For the phone appointments, we have a minimum of 20, so they're $150 each for an actual set phone appointment. With it, you can give us your qualifications. Again, I want guys that sell indexed annuities, $1 million plus. Maybe you want them to have so many years in business, or maybe you also want them to have a securities license or not have a securities license. We get that a lot now. So I don't want to deal with any broker dealers. We can definitely weed that out. But we'll set appointments. That is, like I said, a 20 minimum, 150 each. So $3,000. We're going to set 20 phone appointments for you with advisors that meet your qualifications and guarantee that they keep the appointment. If they don't keep the appointment, or you talk to them and they say they're not actually in that business, or they, whatever it is, you just give me the name, we replace that for you.
That makes sense. Those are two valuable things within this space, because I know it's still a very small niche marketplace, but there are people that want to get into that wholesale industry, and that seems to be a decent amount of the progression of agents. Of you start off, you take your test, you learn absolutely nothing about nothing, but you have a license now to be able to do things. You sell, you produce for the next 5 years. Maybe you then decide to open up a small agency for the next 5 years or so, and then some of those people will decide, oh well, I don't want to deal with the headache of running an agency. And now I have enough experience and to understand what this looks like. I want to work with other independent agencies, and not have to run brand and stuff like that.
Well, and you know what, Nathan, what we're seeing now is most of my business, obviously you've got the huge IMOs, or the pretty big IMOs out there that a lot of the big, a lot of these IMOs, I won't mention any names, but they're targeting the guys doing indexed annuity business, 5 million a year or more, 10 million a year or more. And if you're an advisor or an agent, you don't fall in that category, they really don't want to talk to you. They'll send you down, and they'll turn you over to the new guy we just hired last week or whatever, and you don't get very good service. So there is a niche there for the advisor out there that's writing 1 to 5 million of index annuity business, or a decent but not huge amount of life insurance business, or wants to get started in the assets under management, but he's not a big player yet. And so we're seeing a lot of, people, especially like, successful marketers within some of the big IMOs, are leaving and starting their own small IMO to serve those advisors that are this, small to medium advisor, basically. And that's where we can come in and really help, where we can help get you started, or help, really build your business, because we've got a ton of those guys and they would love to have somebody who actually acted like they cared about their business. So
I think
that's where
that's the piece that's exciting for me that you just mentioned, and why, we're in that, we're in consulting space. We don't consider ourselves even to be an IMO, first. We have carrier offerings, of course.
Mhm.
But our real focus is as a consulting company, because we felt that there was that gap of, most places feel like contracting houses and are
Right.
not actually helping with practice management and developing consultants and how to grow a practice. And it's the Wild West out there. So
Yeah.
I'm that's why I'm so excited about just, understanding a little bit more about that model and using this as a tool, to consult with the places that we're working with, because we run into those people more and more that they want to get in that wholesale space. But the next question of where do I go to find
Yeah.
leads or talk to those people? This is a
Yeah.
great system to be able
And
to
then it's
use.
also tough. I mean, quite honestly, too, when you all, if you go out, and you hire some phone marketers or something, and you just start calling a list, it's, the advisors who are actually the ones you want, the ones that actually do business, and they get on the phone with a marketer who doesn't really know anything, they just started last week or last month. uh, it's a lot different, than when they get a phone call from somebody who's been in the business for a long time and knows what they're talking about. The advisors
Absolutely.
pick up on that really fast. And so if rather than trying to hire you, if you've got a small ISR or a smaller IMO and you're trying to compete with the big ones, I feel like we can give you, we're kind of a way that you can hire real experienced marketers without having to pay them six-figure incomes. Um, you know, and we can provide good qualified advisors for you to talk to.
That makes sense. And then, I mean, outside of, especially because with you working with the small, mid-size IMOs, I mean, just from that end, what would you say is, one of the, this is kind of a side note on not just what you do, but just in general of, running that IMO, what's one of the major pitfalls you think of running a small IMO that most people run into?
It's usually I feel like it's almost always the recruiting aspect, obviously. Also, the other thing that
I was
happens.
kind of leaning into that.
Yeah, but, that's obviously that's the business. And you can build all the great back office stuff and have great marketing programs and access to all of those things, but you got to be able to get to reach the advisors who can write business for you, not just the ones that say, oh yeah, I love that, I love that lead program you have,
No,
sign me up, but they don't sell anything. That doesn't make you any money. The trick is finding the advisor who's really in the business. He already knows. For instance, if you're trying to recruit advisors for indexed annuities, you want guys who already sell indexed annuities. You don't want the guy who'd like to sell an indexed annuity but never has.
no.
Um, I've known a lot of people, in this business. I even remember when I first started in it, I had someone tell me, "Oh, hey, go after the guys that are doing Medicare supplement and long-term care because they've got tons of clients already. They can just go out and sell annuities."
Mhm.
They don't sell annuities.
Hey,
Uh, you know, so you're wasting your time. You want to find the guy that's already selling annuities, but there's a reason he likes you. He wants to work with you, and you can get him on board. That's the only way you're going to make money, and that's the biggest challenge, especially today with all the competition and everything there is out there. That's where the challenge is.
absolutely. And I will say just on that note, first, because some of the people that will listen to this know some of the programs that we have and we talk about. But if you're the person that does the annuities and you're a small IMO, yes, talk to the Medicare supplement guys. Do a partner case with them.
Right.
But if you're going to expect them to write it all on their own, you're going to be holding your breath for a long time.
You're in trouble. I'll just tell you because it seems like it should work, but I've been doing this for 35 years and I haven't seen it work yet. So that's just the way it is.
I would agree with you, and that's really where the model of what we're trying to teach with getting more people into the wholesale space is the working with non-producing agents is a huge problem, and it will
Right.
absolutely kill your business. It'll make you frustrated. It'll make you not want to do this anymore because you can't make them produce. This is not an agency. You don't have expectations for them. This is the IMO world. This is the wholesale space. They're
Yeah.
completely independent.
Right.
And that'll be a
Right.
very quick way to turn them away if you're trying to make them do something that they don't end up wanting to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key. And that, you want to find someone who already, I already know how to, I sell annuities now. I make a pretty good living selling annuities now. But maybe, my current IMO never calls me back. I did 3 million last year and they act like, I'm nobody. That's a lot of the ways I think a lot of where the opportunity is for
I would
IMOs or
agree.
people that want to start one, be a wholesaler now.
I would agree 100%. Well, on that note, different note then, so say someone is interested, they want to buy a list, what does that process look like? What would they do to need to do to be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's real easy. Send money. We send you, basically, the way we do it, and it's pretty straightforward. Contact me, and basically we can talk about what you're looking for, what you want to do and all that sort of thing. You say, you want to buy the list or do the phone appointments, either one. We'll talk about how that works. And then basically I just, I send out an online invoice for what you want with the lead list. You get that it's a pretty quick turnaround because we're talking to advisors every day. We usually have at least, a couple hundred that we've talked to within that 30-day period that qualify. And so, typically we send out an online invoice, you pay it online within a couple of days at the most, you've got your list of 100 or 150 or whatever you want, on the advisors. On the phone appointments, it's a little longer process, of course, where we talk to you about your value proposition. What can we use, to get an advisor who's currently in business, currently using an IMO one or more. Why would he want to talk to you? That's what we're looking for. What do you offer that's maybe a little different, that would make them want to talk to you? We put together a script. I send it for approval. Once it's approved, we start making calls. Usually takes us about 4 weeks, sometimes a little longer, to get those 20 appointments for you. A lot of that depends on what we're offering and what the situation is,
That's what I was gonna say. You got to have a pretty good value proposition in this day and age that's catchy to get
right.
those appointments.
Yeah, product, pretty much is not going to work. Everybody's got the same products and or similar, and they've heard every product pitch there is. So usually what works is some type of marketing program, some type of so way of getting the advisor more more commission, or like I said, better service, better overall service. And that's really where we're seeing a lot of traction now, with the smaller advisor. You're a $2 million a year index annuity guy, but we'll treat you like the big gut boys treat a $10 million advisor, where it only takes, you can win trips, get bonuses. I've got one longtime client that offers a bonus program from the first application. You don't have to do $5 million of business with us before you get anything over and above what you would get anywhere else. You know, your first app, we pay a bonus on it right off the top.
That's a good value prop right there.
Yeah, right. So things like that, you know.
I was gonna say, and for anyone that's listening that ends up working with us on that side, that's something we can sit down with and come across those value propositions for you. We have quite a few of them with the resources and things that we have access to. But that would be very easy for us to
Yep.
create that value proposition. And I will say, I mean, although it's not something that you would put within a pitch for what you're doing, Dennis. Remember, the biggest value proposition is you.
I 100% agree, and it is more difficult, you know, for us obviously to you know, communicate that. That's what we hope. If we come up with something that has just enough, you know, of a way to pique their interest so they'll talk to you, then we hope that you're able to impart that, because that's, to me, I've always said that's really what it boils down to, you know, is do they just like you? They want to do business because, hey, Nathan's a great guy, you know, so I'd rather he call me than that other bozo that's been calling me. So that's where I'm going to place my business. That's really what it comes down to. So, you know, you talk about the value propositions. Yeah, everybody's got them. Everybody's got marketing and leads and all that kind of stuff. You know, we're just looking for something that, you know, piques some interest, and then, you know, then you're the one that's got to take it over the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the one thing I'll mention too is just, I know what motivates a lot of people is money. So, and that's the two rules of dealing with agents is rule number one, don't mess with their money. Rule number two is don't forget rule number one.
Right.
But on this side of the wholesale space, this is why something like this is so important, because literally if you know, even buying a batch of leads, and you do the 20 appointments or you get the 100 advisors, literally one good one pays you dividends based on the override that you're earning that they can't get based on the little production that they're doing. And
yeah, no, you're exactly right. That's the thing you have to keep in mind too. And that, you know, if you buy, I think the best value, to be honest with you, is buying the list rather than the phone appointments. You know, like if me, I'd buy the list. If I can get a list of 100 guys that I already know, you know, if I'm recruiting for indexed annuities, I want a list of 100 guys. I have an accurate phone number, an accurate email address. I already know they're independent. I already know they're doing how much indexed annuity premium they're doing before I ever talk to them. That's super valuable to me. And I got to, you know, I'm not going to do business with all 100 of them. If I get two of them, if I get one of them, I paid $1,500. How much premium do I need before I'm making money? You know,
not a whole lot.
Right. To me, that's kind of a no-brainer to me. You know, that if that's the way I would go, I would do that every month, you know, and give me 100 of them every month. And if I get one or two guys out of that, plus all those others, all of them, you know, you immediately put into your CRM, you got valid, accurate email addresses that you can be emailing, you know, rather than
National Insurance Producers Registry list isn't reliable on emails.
You're gonna get a lot of junk, you know, you're gonna get a lot of bounces, and then you run into all the spam stuff and everything, and we can avoid all of that.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And that's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, targeting your market works a lot better. You know, it's a rifle shot rather than a shotgun blast. It's calling the needles instead of the haystack. You know, that's what it's all about. And so that's our value proposition.
Well, and I should have put this at the end as a hook for anyone that's listening to this to stay to the end. But if anybody that's working with us, and I know there's people in right now that are listening in, but for anybody that's working with us, we'll put together in essence, our own bonus program that if you work with, you know, Dennis and get leads, we'll partner with you on the back end to share in the cost of those leads, basically.
That's
because
great.
we believe in a model. We believe in a model like that. If you're the person that is going to build those relationships and go find those people, that's what we're most interested in. Because our whole, as everyone knows here about us, our whole distribution model's flipped. We don't really have any
Mhm.
direct agents or advisors to us. Our focus is finding people that want to build those small sub-IMOs, small wholesalers, and we want our entire distribution to happen through those people, basically.
Yeah,
So if you decide to go down this direction, we'll partner with you on the back end to be able to make that happen. So I wanted to throw that out to everyone. So if you're hearing this, have that conversation with us. We'll talk about what that looks like.
fantastic. Yeah, that's great. And that's a great opportunity, I think, for anybody that is trying to build up a downline. Get into build their wholesale business for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, is outside of everything we've talked about, any closing thoughts or anything like that before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so, Nathan. It's been great, and I'd love to talk to anybody that's interested. Obviously, you can reach me directly anytime.
I was just
Um,
gonna say, let me do this real quick. Would this be your website and then
yeah,
that phone number so they can get a hold of you and stuff like that?
absolutely. Yep. Yeah, rackerscg.com is the website. That's the easiest thing to do. You can go right there, and my contact information's on there. Comes direct to me. There's a form on there you can fill out, and if you want, and I'll give you a call, or you can call me direct. Either way, and
Perfect.
be happy to
What
talk to
we'll do,
anybody. And go
so
ahead.
what we'll do on our side is we have a important contacts list. It's rather a long one, but Dennis, we'll add you on this list and what you do on that end, so that people know where to contact you. Because again, this is something that we believe in on our side, and this is specifically what we're trying to help out with. So I appreciate getting this, having this as a recording, because there will be people that we share this with, and we can use this as a consulting tool. So the
Fantastic.
time was very valuable.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Nathan. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can help some people out there build a business and make everybody some money is the idea from what I've heard.
Absolutely, Dennis. I appreciate the time. We'll be talking real soon.
All right. Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.